There was a time when people sat together and actually felt together. Now we sit in the same room, staring into different screens, fighting silent battles nobody notices. We have more followers than ever, yet deeper loneliness than any generation before us. We can message anyone instantly, but struggle to have one honest conversation. We know how to react, scroll, swipe, and perform, but many have forgotten how to truly connect. And here's the dangerous part. When humans lose the ability to connect, they don't just lose relationships. They lose empathy, they lose trust, they lose purpose, and eventually, they lose themselves. This isn't just a social problem. It's becoming a psychological crisis, a cultural collapse happening quietly in front of our eyes. Because connection is not a luxury. It is what gives life meaning. And the moment people stop feeling seen, heard, and understood, they begin to emotionally disappear. In this speech, we're going to uncover why genuine human connection is fading, what modern life is secretly doing to our minds, and how this silent epidemic is changing friendships, families, relationships, and society itself. Because if we don't learn how to reconnect soon, we may become the most technologically connected generation in history, and the most emotionally disconnected at the same time. The loneliest people today are not the ones sitting alone in dark rooms. They are the ones constantly surrounded by notifications, conversations, and endless digital noise. Men especially are being conditioned to believe that staying busy is the same as feeling connected. A man can spend hours texting people, scrolling through content, watching stories, reacting to posts, and still go to sleep feeling completely unseen. Because connection was never about access. It was about understanding. And many men are silently starving for that understanding while pretending they are fine. Modern relationships are becoming emotionally shallow because people are learning to protect their image more than their truth. Men are taught to suppress vulnerability because weakness is punished, ignored, or misunderstood. Women often want emotional presence, but many men were never taught how to express emotion without feeling exposed or judged. So conversations stay surface level. Real feelings stay hidden. People begin performing versions of themselves instead of revealing themselves. And when two people are performing instead of connecting, loneliness grows even inside relationships. The dangerous part is that society celebrates visibility while ignoring emotional isolation. A man can appear confident, successful, attractive, and socially active while internally feeling disconnected from everyone around him. Many women experience the same emotional emptiness, surrounded by attention but deprived of genuine reassurance, safety, and depth. The most dangerous thing social media normalized was not comparison. It was performance. People no longer feel pressure to be real. They feel pressure to appear valuable. Men especially are growing up in a world where worth is measured through status, attention, money, physique, and validation from strangers. Instead of asking, "Who am I really?" many are asking, "How do I look to other people?" And when a man becomes obsessed with managing perception, he slowly disconnects from his authentic identity. Modern platforms reward visibility, not vulnerability. Women are often encouraged to present perfect lifestyles, perfect beauty, perfect happiness, while men are pushed to appear emotionally unshaken, dominant, and constantly successful. Both genders begin hiding the parts of themselves that feel human. Real insecurity becomes edited out. Real struggle becomes silence. Real emotion becomes content. And over time, people stop building relationships based on truth and start building them based on curated impressions. The psychological cost of this is massive because performance creates attention, but it cannot create trust. A man may know how to attract people online, but struggle to maintain emotional closeness in real life. Many women receive endless communication digitally, yet still feel emotionally disconnected because attention without presence feels empty. People are learning how to be watched, admired, and desired without ever learning how to truly understand another human being. The modern world has convinced people that vulnerability is dangerous. Men grow up hearing that showing emotion makes them weak, soft, or less respected, so they learn to stay silent about fear, loneliness, rejection, and emotional pain. They master the art of appearing calm while internally carrying pressure nobody sees. And after years of emotional suppression, many men no longer know how to express what they truly feel. Even to the people they love most, emotional walls are becoming a survival strategy in relationships. Women often desire honesty, reassurance, and emotional openness. But many men have been conditioned to believe that exposing emotion will lead to judgment, loss of control, or rejection. At the same time, many women also hide their fears behind strength, independence, or perfection, because vulnerability now feels risky for everyone. So both sides protect themselves instead of understanding each other. Conversations become careful. Feelings become filtered. People start guarding their hearts more than sharing them. The tragedy is that human connection cannot exist without emotional risk. Real trust is built when people feel safe enough to reveal the parts of themselves they normally hide. But today, many men would rather appear strong than admit they are struggling, and many women would rather appear unaffected than admit they feel emotionally disconnected. People are losing the courage to be fully seen because modern culture rewards emotional control more than emotional honesty. The greatest threat to modern relationships is not conflict. It is constant distraction. Deep human connection requires attention, presence, patience, and emotional energy. But modern life is training people to live in permanent interruption. Men especially are becoming mentally exhausted from endless stimulation, notifications, pressure to succeed, entertainment, competition, and digital overload. Many are physically present with the people they care about, while mentally somewhere else entirely. And when attention disappears, emotional intimacy slowly disappears with it. Modern distraction is changing how men and women experience each other emotionally. Many women do not simply want communication, they want presence. They want to feel heard without competing against a screen, stress, or endless distractions. At the same time, many men feel overwhelmed by the nonstop demands of modern life and use distraction as an escape from emotional pressure. Instead of confronting loneliness, uncertainty, or relationship tension, people bury themselves in content, work, scrolling, and temporary stimulation because silence has become uncomfortable. The dangerous part is that distraction creates emotional distance so gradually that people barely notice it happening. Conversations become shorter, listening becomes weaker, eye contact disappears. Moments that once created connection are replaced with divided attention. A man may believe he is providing, protecting, or staying busy for the future while unknowingly becoming emotionally unavailable in the present. Many relationships are not collapsing because love disappeared, but because attention did. The modern world no longer asks people to be authentic. It asks them to be visible. Attention has become the new currency, and people are learning that being noticed matters more than being understood. Men especially are under constant pressure to prove value through status, achievement, appearance, money, and dominance. Many no longer feel safe being ordinary, emotional, or uncertain, because modern culture rewards the image of strength more than the reality of humanity. So instead of building identity from within, people begin building it around external validation. Social media accelerated this shift by turning human behavior into performance. Women are often rewarded for presenting ideal beauty, ideal lifestyles, and emotional perfection, while men are praised for appearing successful, emotionally controlled, and constantly confident. The problem is not that people want attention. The problem is that attention without authenticity slowly disconnects people from themselves. A man may spend years creating a version of himself that earns admiration online, while privately feeling emotionally exhausted and unknown. Many women experience the same emptiness, constantly receiving reactions and validation, while still feeling unseen at a deeper emotional level. The psychological damage appears when people begin fearing honesty more than loneliness. Authenticity requires emotional exposure, but attention only requires presentation. So people learn to hide insecurity, pain, confusion, and vulnerability behind carefully managed identities. Relationships become built around attraction instead of trust. Conversations become filtered instead of honest. Men stop expressing emotional truth because they fear appearing weak, and women stop expressing emotional needs because they fear seeming difficult or unwanted. The result is a culture where people are constantly seen but rarely understood. The most valuable skill in the future will not be manipulation, status, or influence. It will be the ability to genuinely connect with another human being. In a world filled with distraction, emotional exhaustion, and artificial interaction, the people who can make others feel understood will become rare. Men especially are entering a generation where many know how to compete, but very few know how to emotionally connect. Society trained men to chase achievement, control, and external success. But many were never taught how to communicate fear, loneliness, uncertainty, or emotional depth. And because of that, countless relationships now suffer from emotional distance disguised as strength. The future will belong to people who know how to create emotional safety. Women are increasingly searching for authenticity, presence, and emotional maturity because surface-level attraction no longer fills the deeper human need for trust and understanding. At the same time, many men secretly crave the same thing, but struggle to express it because they fear vulnerability will reduce their value. So they hide behind silence, humor, work, distraction, or emotional detachment. The people who break this cycle will stand out because real connection has become uncommon. Strong connection is not built through perfection. It is built through presence. A man who knows how to listen without ego, speak honestly without fear, and remain emotionally grounded during difficult moments will naturally earn trust and respect. A woman who feels emotionally safe becomes more open, more connected, and more authentic, because human beings mirror the emotional environments they are placed in. The relationships, friendships, and leaders that will shape the future are the ones capable of making people feel seen instead of judged. The real power in the modern world is no longer attention. It is emotional understanding.